everyone. I'm Dr. Harpreet Kaur, Assistant Professor in the School of Management, Maharaja Agar Singh University, Baddi. Today I'm here to discuss about the training design and its process. So first of all, we have to know about the training design. It's a planning activity which is the context of training refers to the framework of analyzing a training program, defining the intent outcome, determining how to present the content to the learners to achieve those outcomes. Develop a training course according to the design, implementing the course, evaluating its effectiveness, and devising the follow-up activities. So, the designer, will have to consider some important points like what is the cost involved in that planning? What are the availability of the resources which are required for the training program? And what is the appropriateness of the training? The basic element of an effective training design are it should be based on intent, need, and it is learner focused. It has measurable objectives, it is goal oriented, it is time bound, and it has taken into account the resources, constraint, and availability. The training design basically involves three activities. Stating the training objective. The very first is stating the training objective. And second is identify the training activities as well as the methodology. Means what is the logic behind each and every activity. Sequencing of the activities which have to held for meaningful learning. There are so many guidelines for designing a perfect training program, like identify the error and eliminate them. Hold a design review of each product. Define objective for the learners, not for the trainers. Ask for the feedback, not at end of the program, but during the activities. Spend a lot of time to identify our target audience. Build up ownership by involving stakeholders. Remember the business reason why you are designing this course. Break the design and develop process into activities with beginnings and its ends. For designing and develop a process. Gather the information on training needs. Prepare program specification. Conduct the design meeting with all the stakeholders. Prepare the design documents. Prepare the overall material list and project plan. Write the material at development stage. Review the material again and again. Test the material availability. Hold a pilot study. It is must for a perfect outcome. So, next is the process of training design. The very first step in the training program is training objective. It should be clear, specific, and attainable. A decision is required to made on learning objective to match with job performance, job conditions, and job standards. Objectives are more precise than goals. It will answer the basic question like what do you expect from trainers to do after the program, conditions, constraints under which it has to be performed, and standard of the performance that should be maintained in the training program. So next step is determine the structure. Arrange all the activities into the sequence of logic dependence, or organize them in order of easy to difficult sequence. Determine the training structure, determine how much and which of the theoretical aspects are to be important that should be covered in that training program. Determine the performance outcome expected on successful completion. Assess and estimate time requirement. It is very important. Identify appropriate methodology. That means logic. What is the logic behind each and every step during the training design? So there are three types of structures are there: linear structure, a spiral structure, and a modular structure. Linear is opposed to the modular structure. Linear structure means one in which the lessons are arranged logically, one after another. Means from beginning to its completion, from simple to complex. But a modular is opposed to it, one in which the program is divided into small independent units. Means learner can pick from any module anytime. And a spiral structure is one in which easier topics of all the interrelated subjects are taught first and then come to the next level, and so on. Next is models of the training design. There are two types of models are there: open model and a closed model. Open model involve outside factor exist. It's a hypothesis. It's a working hypothesis. No guarantee as to the outcome. Unstructured or open skill do not have a single most way of performance. Core principles of unskilled as are taught. Closed model is based on assumption that all the inputs can be identified. Designer is being assured that conclusion and outcome are predetermined, also known as structure module. A single most way of efficient performance. All the accuracy is highly structured situation ensure your success. For example, closed model like training for driving, and open model means like we are trained our trainees regarding self-defense training. It's a self-defense training. So it's a working hypothesis and no guarantee as to the outcome. Next step is determining training content. It's the most important step. After seeing the program objective, the trainer, the designer should prepare an action plan for meeting them. The major activity involved in action plan are identify the content and activities, dividing the program content into subtopics, segregation the contents and activities into skills, knowledge, and attitude. But always remember to consider the four basic aspects of design, that are characteristics of trainers, organization purpose of that training program, resources availability, and nature of learning intent. The training program are divided into three segments: introduction, learning components, and wrap-up. Introduction means what are the main objective. It states about the objective of the organization for planning a training program. Learning components, it involves the body of the training program. And wrap-up means what is the gap? What is the gap between planning, and implementation. Training next is selecting a training method. A variety of methodology are available to choose, but appropriate methodology is based on several factors like current level of expertise, nature of availability of resources, availability of time, nature of trainees, nature of infrastructure, funds availability, and so on. So there are two type of training programs are there: on the job method and off the job method. On the job, like job rotation, coaching, job instruction, step by step training, and committee assignment. In job method, on the job method, trainees are learn about so many activities in the working area. But off the job, it's a type of training where a separate place is available for the trainings, like vestitube training, role-playing activities, lecture method, conferences, workshops, and program instructions. Next step is learning activities and lesson plan. So now we have to set the lesson plan. There should be proper sequencing of learning. Trainees must see the logic in what they learn. Topics considered difficult should be held in the morning session, and post-lunch session should have a lot of activities because trainees have a natural tendency to sleep after lunch. From the second day onwards, the first session of the day should be started with recall the previous lessons. Next is evaluation criteria. Training design is incomplete if it does not contain evaluation. The objective of evaluation is to see how far the training program was effective enough in meeting the training objective. There are several aspects like training objective, nature of learning, the purpose for which the evaluation data is going to be used, which are to be taken into account while determining the evaluation criteria. Evaluation can be done on the basis of learning, on the basis of change in the behavior, and it can be on the basis of results after training. Last is follow-up activities. The total learning may not occur at the end of program. Even if it has happened, the training environment, we are not sure whether it will occur in the work or not. The trainee may forget the things. So, as a part of follow-up activity, the training manager may keep communicate with the trainees. If there are any other learning material, information that exist for strengthen the learning process, that should be available immediately to the trainees. Thank you for your attention. Good luck.